And we are back. What is up, everyone? Technically, this is going to be two different videos in the actual recording of it. So for those of you watching the second part of the video on the Portswigger Academy new learning pass on server-side vulnerabilities, welcome back. But for those of you on stream, this is all one stream. Welcome back to you guys as well. We're going to dive right back into things, picking up where we left off with file upload vulnerability. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And I know I just read this before the stream, but I need to edit some things for YouTube. So we're going to go through this little short paragraph again. So what are file upload vulnerabilities? Well, file upload vulnerabilities are when a web server allows users to upload files to its file system without sufficiently validating things like their name, type, contents, or size. Failing to properly enforce restrictions on these could mean that even a basic image upload function can be used to upload arbitrary and potentially dangerous files instead. This could even include server-side script files that enable RCE. In some cases, the act of uploading the file in itself is enough to cause damage. Other attacks may involve a follow-up HTTP request for the file, typically to trigger its execution by the server. How do they arise? Well, given the fairly obvious dangers, it's rare for websites in the wild that have no restriction whatsoever on which files users are allowed to upload. More commonly, developers implement what they believe to be robust validation that is either inherently flawed or can be easily bypassed. I bypass this stuff all the time, guys, on assessments. For example, they may attempt to blacklist dangerous file types, but fail to account for parsing discrepancies when checking the file extensions. As with any blacklist, it's also easy to accidentally omit more obscure file types that may still be dangerous. Guys, pen testing story. My first ever I got true full RCE was through this. It was on a web app, and I was able to abuse a weird file upload process where it was almost like a two-stage upload, and I abused it on the second stage and was able to upload a Java shell, and I got full RCE on a production web server, and I could drill into their internal environment. So the one time in the past year that I got full RCE on a real web app, it was through a file upload vulnerability. In other cases, the website may attempt to check the file type by verifying properties that can be easily manipulated by an attacker using tools like burp proxy or repeater. Ultimately, even robust validation measures may be applied inconsistently across a network of hosts and directories that form the website, resulting in discrepancies that can be exploiting unrestricted file uploads to deploy a web shell. From a security perspective, the worst possible scenario is when a website allows you to upload server-side scripts such as PHP, Java, or Python files, and is also configured to execute them as code. Well, this makes it trivial to create your own web shell on the server. You can read that about what a web shell is. If you're able to successfully upload a web shell, you effectively have full control over the server. This means you can read and write arbitrary files, exfiltrate sensitive data, even use the server to pivot attacks against both internal infrastructure and other servers outside the network. For example, the following PHP one-liner could be used to read arbitrary files from the server. And I don't know what they're going to have us do in the lab, so we'll even just note these down. Once uploaded, sending a request for this malicious file will return that target's file contents in the response. A more versatile web shell may look like this. This is going to be a simple PHP CMD web shell. This script enables you to pass an arbitrary system command with this type of query. So let's drop this in our notes as well. Continue. All right, let's do this lab. This lab contains a vulnerable image upload function. It doesn't perform any validation. So to solve this lab, upload a basic PHP web shell, and we're gonna steal Carlos' secret. What's your secret, Carlos? Submit the secret using the button provided in the lab banner. All right. Do 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 do. There we go. Wiener, Peter, don't save, and we can go ahead and upload our file. So we'll do this one. Save that. Go to upload. And I said there was no validation, right? Carlos. Where am I supposed to get the data? Home Carlos secret. There's Carlos's secret. It's definitely not incorrect. That is definitely the secret. Nope, it's definitely the secret. Bro, I'm just gonna... Oh, I can't really get a reverse shell on this. I mean... Guys, should we see if we can get a reverse shell on here? I'm guessing they have something in place to stop me. But 1 second. Let me log into my AWS account. And I think I have a Kali machine as like a ghetto C2 server with a public IP. I'm going to see if I can get a reverse shell just for the heck of it. Let's see. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'll show it in a second. I think I need to modify some security on here. What can this thing do? Can it SSH? All right. How is it SSHing? Is it from a key that I don't have on this computer? Instant state. Start this thing up. Okay, I'm booting up a... Oh, you think it's double output? It might be, but either way now I'm just curious if I can get a web shell on the PortSwigger's little lab thing. You know, generally people wouldn't do this because unlike Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, we're not on a VPN, right? So you would need a public IP to get a web shell because it can't reach back to our private IP. So that's why I'm going to see if I can boot up my little Kali Linux in the cloud. I just don't remember how to get the private key. How about, can I get from the security group? When you launch an instance, you can specify a key pair, yes. You can change a key pair by adding a new public key to the instance or replacing the public key. Okay, how do I do that though? The public keys are located here. Yeah, but how do I get to it? Shoot. Okay. I'm going to pull this over here. I don't like showing my like host system. Shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm going to see if I have the key on here. If I do SSH as Kali at 172. No. Here's our public IP. Dang it. Ah. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'd have to like, well, okay. Okay, guys. I have another idea. That's even crazier. I'm too curious about this. I can't give this up. So first, I lost the key for my Kali cloud machine. I thought it was actually, maybe it's on here. Hold up. You guys are gonna look at my face for a second while I play around with this. I need to see if I have this key somewhere on my computer. Like I know I made this Kali machine for a specific purpose. It was like for a video when I was demonstrating. I bypassed Windows Defender and got like a shell, but I wanted to do it in the real world with like a public IP. Did I find it? Hold up, guys. We might be in luck. SSH. I don't know if it's Callie on this machine or if it's Tyler. Let's try Tyler. I'll share my stream once I get this pulled up, guys. No. Guys, I got in. All right. All right, let me get this pulled back up. All right, guys, so this is actually in AWS. This has a public IP. So because I have a public IP, I bet this might be sandbox in some way, but let's see if we can get a shell on it. So if we look for I don't know if I have to do safe characters or anything like that. I'm just going to do it just in case. So if we go here, let's do this one right here. So we're going to do this. But it's actually going to be our public IP of my sweet Kali machine in the cloud, 3.95.185.201. Let's do 443 so it looks somewhat normal. Okay. And now, if we copy this command, get that. Get our listener listening on here. Close this out, close this out. Grab that, open up Port Swigger. It's not the request we want. Here's the request. Oh, I don't think it worked. Okay. Do we have like curl on the machine? Let's make sure I still have command injection here. So we have Carlos. You're right, it is double encoding it. But we have Carlos. If we do okay, no, they have something in place to stop people like me from doing this. It would appear. I wish I could have done it. If you guys have anything you want to try, let me know, but I don't think it's going to work. They clearly are smarter than me, and they assume someone like me was going to see this lab and think, I wonder if I can get a reverse shell. Why is it doubling up on it? What was wrong with my code? That's weird. We could try, let's try to upload. Okay, last attempt, guys. Last attempt at getting a shell on here. Let's try a classic, yeah, PHP reverse shell and throw my EC2 in there. So we'll go here. Hope this isn't like outside of the rules of Portswigger and they like ban me because I'm live streaming myself trying to get a shell. Unbound key, what the heck? That's weird. Hold up. What? Pluma? All right, so we're going to put our IP of our EC2 here, 3.95. Make sure I'm actually typing the IP right this time. 185.201. We'll do 443 there. Whoa, what just happened? I didn't mean to close it. Did it actually save my changes? Yeah, okay. All right, so now if we go here, browse, upload that, back to my account, go to our cloud machine. Oh, you know what we also probably need to do? I bet I need to add a security rule in on the actual machine, like a networking rule that it takes. Like right now, I don't think it'll even take the incoming request. Let me change that real quick. Yeah, it's not going to take it. That might be the issue. Hold up, the shell might work. My issue might be my networking on the cloud side of things. Here, I can probably show you guys this. It's nothing sensitive. Here's what it looks like. So I think what I need to do is set up, I'm usually do this like in the CLI thing, and I don't do this a whole lot. We need to change, I think it's security group, edit inbound rules, and we're gonna make, well, I want to add a rule, inbound rules control, blah, blah. Oh, add a rule. All right, we're going to do custom TCP, port range, we'll do 443, type anywhere IPv4, source is good, save rules. Okay. Now with that modified, okay, so we got connection refused. But why? Yeah, dude, you want to test it? See if you can hit this. I mean, I guess I could test it myself. Let me see if I can shell myself. That would be one thing I could do. Yeah, like, look, guys, I just shelled myself. So that's in the cloud. I just got a reverse shell on myself. So I know it's working from my my Kali machine here in the cloud is working because I just shelled my VM. And which is crazy, guys. Like, this is going over the internet is what I'm doing right now. This is not like in a VPN. So I know it's working. Let's try this command again. Because that's working there. So if we pull this back up, I'm like totally not even doing the Portswigger labs now. This is this is hilarious. And go here. I wonder if it doesn't like these special characters here. think it would be okay, but no, it's not working. They must have protection in place. Only thing I can think of. There, now I don't have those special characters. Still have the plus though. Maybe I can get rid of the plus as well. No, okay, I'm not going to get rid of that. There's a couple pluses. So if I remove those special characters, go back to this. Oops. That. No. They have something in place, guys. Dang it. Well, that was fun. While it lasted. I mean, it's clearly trying to do some type of thing here. The weird thing is connection refused, but it must be getting connection refused on the actual client side. Like, they're not allowing me to execute this. That hesitation made me excited for a second there. One more thing before I give up. I just want like a one-liner reverse shell. Probably isn't going to be this. This is .exe. Here's what I'm looking for, something like this. Here's my EC2. We got, let me go back to figure out what my IP is. All right, 3.95.5.201. All right, let's save that. This really is my last shot. One shot, one opportunity to capture everything I ever wanted. Will I capture it or just let it slip? Shell 2, PHP, upload. Okay, back to my account. My listener's on. No. They're stopping me from doing it. They're too smart. All right, let me go ahead and turn off my EC2. It was fun while it lasted. We'll go ahead and stop our instance. Would have been cool though, guys. Would have been cool if I could have gotten that shell. But we'll move on from here. Maybe there'll be another scenario where we'll just try that out just for fun. That's the real goal, is to get a a reverse shell. I kind of forgot what we were doing though. What am I supposed to be doing? Reading Carlos's thing, right? Cat plus home Carlos secret. So it is doing it twice. VD1 NF EM12Z TEK ops. So it starts it again right there. So this is going to be the answer. Real solution is reverse shell. But hey, we might come back to that. That was fun to play around with. That was the extra credit we were going for. All right, exploiting flawed validation of file uploads. In the wild, it's unlikely that you'll find a website that has no protection against file upload attacks like we saw in the previous lab. You guys at least protected me from getting a reverse shell, but just because defenses are in place, that doesn't mean that they're robust. You can sometimes still exploit flaws in these mechanisms to obtain a web shell for remote code execution. I'm actually going to refresh LinkedIn here to make sure I'm not missing anything on LinkedIn chat. Yeah, hey everyone. Sorry guys on LinkedIn, it doesn't show me the chat right away, but good to have you here. You can sometimes still exploit flaws in these mechanisms to obtain a web shell or for RCE. All right, we're going to try it on this one too, guys. I'll boot it back up. When submitting HTML forms, the browser typically sends the provided data in a post request with the content type there. This is fine for sending simple text like your name or address. However, it isn't suitable for sending large amounts of binary data, such as an entire image file or a PDF document. In this case, the content type multi-part form data is preferred. Consider a form containing fields for uploading an image, providing a description of it, and entering your username. Submitting such a form might look like this in a request. You'll see it better when we actually do it. As you can see, the message body is split into separate parts for each of the form's inputs. Each part contains a content disposition header, which provides some basic information about the input field it relates to. These individual parts may also contain their own content type header, which tells the server the MIME type of the data that was submitted using this input. One way that websites may attempt to validate uploads is to check that this input-specific content type header matches an expected MIME type. If the server is only expecting image files, for example, it may only allow types like image JPEG or image PNG. Problems can arise when the value of this header is implicitly trusted by the server. If no further validation is performed to check whether the contents of the file actually match the supposed MIME type, like magic bytes, this defense can be easily bypassed using tools like Burp Intruder. Okay, this contains a vulnerable image. It attempts to prevent users, but relies on checking user-controllable input to verify this. To solve this, upload a basic PHP web shell and use it to exfiltrate the content. Submit the secret using the button provided in the lab banner. We're going to try to get RCE again. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. I'm going to boot this back up. I mean, not just RCE. I mean like a reverse shell. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, AZ Cowboy? Okay, we'll try it. I'm guessing they have something in place, but you never know. I guess one easy way I could check is I could see if I could hit my collaborator link before I do all the crazy stuff. We'll do that first, because if I can hit collaborator, then we know it's reaching out to the internet. So initially, if we try to just do the same thing we did before, it's probably going to fail. So if we do shell.php, open, upload, you can see this is the MIME type it's talking about. So because it's not an image, it's going to fail. So if we go to repeater here, it's going to say, oh, only image JPEG and image PNG are allowed. So all we really need to do is change the MIME type like that. Back to my account. Open image in new tab. And then if we do we have that. So if we do like I'm going to copy this to clipboard. Oh, shoot, we got a hit. Okay. So we are getting a hit from them externally facing, at least on wget there. Okay, well that's interesting. Let me stop sharing my screen just for a moment while I get logged back into my cloud. Oh, CD downloads. Oh, my IP changed. Hold up. That's a downside when I just pay for the cheapest EC2 I can. My public IP is different every single time. All right. We're back in business. So now just to check, if I go to, we could try to do hoax shell as well. Anyways, if I'm going to make directory web server, cd web server, echo, hello everyone. Yeah. Okay. And if we instead do my IP here, which is 34.201.118.19, like that. Okay. Oh, wrong terminal. Oh, hold up. Once again, I need to set my rules, like my networking rules in my security group. So let me go ahead and edit inbound rules. And I'm going to add a rule. We'll say port range 80, source type anywhere, anywhere IPv4. Add a rule, save rules. Save rules. Okay. Now I have that configured. Let's try that again. Why is that not working, I wonder? If I do it to myself, it's working there. Does it like not trust the IP? Yo, what up, Tinas? Tinas, we are doing, well, we were doing Portswigger Academy. Portswigger Academy recently released brand new learning paths. So I'm like almost all the way through their learning paths, but we're in the file upload functionality. All you're supposed to do is upload a web shell to get RCE. But I'm trying to take it a step further, and I spun up an EC2 of Kali so that I have a public IP, and I'm trying to get a full reverse shell on like Portswigger's lab infrastructure. Just for fun, but it's not working for some reason. Like I have my security rules set, so it's allowing traffic on port 80. I can do it to myself. I got a reverse shell on myself, and I want to get a reverse shell on their lab, but I'm sure they have something in place to stop doing that. Yeah, basically, I got bored with the path. Now I'm trying to root the, the machine. That is basically what I'm doing, because we have full like command injection here, right? And we have like bash, but I can't get like all the reverse shells that work on my machine connected out to the internet to my EC2 are not working here, not even wget, but it does work on Collaborator. So I know like there's nothing in place to stop it, but Collaborator is also OAuthify, right? So maybe they have something in place that allows that to go out, but not the crazy RCE stuff that I'm trying to do. Yeah, I know. It probably does have outbound restrictions. They're they're smarter than me. I just wanted to try it. I might just keep going on with the learning, guys, and quit with my crazy trying to get a shell on them. I'm guessing the reason it at least does wget out to like my collaborator URL is because it is an owastify.com, which is PortSwigger. It probably doesn't work for anything else, I'd assume. Yeah, I've gotten connection to my EC2, but not from PortSwigger. Like I'm able to reverse shell myself. So, which is confusing. Tinas will get this, but others won't quite get this. Like this looks like this is on my computer, but it's not. This is actually in the cloud. This is not locally hosted. So I'm able to shell my computer itself with my EC2. So I know my EC2 is correct. My EC2 has all the right security groups configured properly, allowing the right traffic because I can shell myself. So I know that's working. So yeah, they're smarter than me. They clearly have something in place to prevent silly people like me from trying to do what I'm doing. So let's just, I'm gonna shut my EC2 back down. Guys, let's just go back to like doing what we're supposed to be doing and stop trying to do this. Oh. Let's see. Do. Okay, what was the actual thing I was supposed to do here? Oh, read Carlos's secret again. Okay, we'll read the secret. Cat home Carlos secret. And there it is. Is it gonna double it again? Yeah, it does. Okay, so this is a secret right there. Oh, I should probably turn off proxy. I broke the lab. There, I solved it. Oh, what about getting, I just saw your message, Sheena. So what about TCP dump it so you can get DNS or at the very least ICMP traffic? If so, for this, you would have to do exfil through a non-standard channel. Yeah, dude, I think this is too much work just for my random extra credit I'm trying to do on PortSwigger. I'm also not sure if it's like against their like terms of use what I'm attempting to do, because generally speaking, most people wouldn't be able to do this because like try hack me, hack the box, you're on a VPN. I just happen to have a Kali machine in my personal AWS account with the public IP that I spun up. So, you know, they're not teaching you to do that. I'm guessing they don't want you to do it. And so I don't want to like also break their terms of service while live streaming it. Pretty bad idea, but it didn't work. So that's it. I would have, if it would have worked, I still would have kept doing it because it would have been cool. But it is what it is. Let's keep going through here. Oh, we finished file upload vulnerabilities without a reverse shell, unfortunately. OS command injection. We could try it again on this. OS command injection is also known as shell injection. It allows an attacker to execute operating system commands on the server that is running an application and typically fully compromise the application and its data. Often, an attacker can leverage an OS command injection vulnerability to compromise other parts of the hosting infrastructure and exploit trust relationships to pivot the attack to other systems within the organization. I'll go continue. Useful commands. After you identify an OS command injection vulnerability, it's often useful to execute some initial commands to obtain information about the system. Below is a summary, so basic stuff, name, operating system, network config, network connections, and running processes. In this example, a shopping application lets the user view whether an item is in stock in a particular store. It's accessed via this URL. So I'm guessing we're going to escape this and do command injection. To provide the stock information, the application must query various legacy systems. For historical reasons, the functionality is implemented by calling out to a shell command with the product and store ID as follows. 1 second, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything on the chat. Nope. The command outputs the stock status for the specified item, which is returned to the user. So you can see we're doing the stock report .perl, and then we have the ID 381 and 29. So we should be able to pretty easily escape like 29 with a few different ways and execute command pulled right into that, I would think. The application implements no defenses against OS command injection, so an attacker can submit the following input to execute an arbitrary command. If the input is submitted in the product ID parameter, the command executed by the application is this, right? Stock report, and then we have that. So they're doing in the in that. Let me go back. Stock. So yeah, so it's just that is where they're executing it at. That's what they mean by stock report. The echo command causes the supplied string to be echoed in the output. This is a useful way to test for some types of OS command injection. The ampersand character is a shell command separator. In this example, it causes 3 separate commands to execute one after another. The output returned to the user is this: error, product ID was not found, and then it's showing, hey, it successfully got RCE because it's echoing that out. The 3 lines of output demonstrate that the original command was executed without its expected arguments and so return an error message. The injected echo command was executed and the supplied string was echoed in the output. The original argument 29 was executed as a command which caused an error. So you can see that. Placing the additional command separator after the injected command is useful because it separates the injected command from whatever follows the injection point. This reduces the chance that what follows will prevent the injected command from executing. All right, let's do this lab. Like I said, I've apparently done it sometime in the past, but this would have been probably a year and a half ago when I did this. So it contains an OS command injection in the product stock checker. It executes a shell command containing user-supplied products and store IDs and returns a raw output from the command as response. All right, so view details. We have check stock. So we have this product ID and store ID. So if we just allow it to do its thing normally, we have 62. So instead, if we do oh, I'm doing that wrong. See, when I've always done it like at the end, like. All right. Let's go back and read. I think I just need to get the syntax proper. So product ID and store ID, yeah, that's kind of how I did it. So that's what I tried. I guess I didn't have the spaces, but I didn't think that would matter. And it's in that thing, right? I'm looking at the right thing. What did it say in the lab? A shell command contains user supplied product and store IDs. It returns a raw output from the command and its response. So that would be this. So if I just copy their exact thing. Whoops. Oh, I don't want the sleep 10. Hold up. Let's just go back. Back. There we go. So on the product ID, I mean, I'd assume this would work. If I just do that, echo hello. I don't know if we really need another ampersand there. I don't want the sleep 1 on the end there. And then I'm going to have to probably URL encode it. Missing parameter product ID, but I think it's just because it needs to be URL encoded. No. Okay, well we have it's executing bash script. Home, we have Peter, stock report, line 5, unbound variable. So who am I seems to actually be working. Extra operator 1. What if I just go like this? There we go. I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do it, but there I got I got RCE in my own way. And what am I supposed to grab? Oh, just the name of the current user. Peter. Where do I submit it at? Oh, it solved the lab just from doing that. Okay, got it. Solve that one. Beautiful. Continue. Oh man, we have almost done the entire learning path in one sitting. What am I at? 2 hours of streaming? SQL injection. SQL injection, or SQL injection, for those of you who say it wrongly, is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. This can allow an attacker to view data that they are not normally able to retrieve. This might include data that belongs to other users or any other data that the application can access. In many cases, an attacker can modify or delete this data, causing persistent changes to the application's content or behavior. In some situations, an attacker can escalate a SQL injection attack to compromise the underlying server or other backend infrastructure. It can also enable them to perform denial of service attacks. You can detect SQL injection manually using a systematic set of tests against every entry point in the application. And guys, I just did this on the Hack the Box machine I was working on yesterday. Love is what it was called. Remember, I did a single quote, determined SQL injection was there. Then we did SQL map and we were able to dump the database. So we kind of followed this a little bit on stream last night when I was working on CTF. The single quote character and look for errors, some SQL specific syntax that evaluates to the base original value, Boolean conditions such as OR, payloads designed to trigger time delays like sleep when executed, OS payloads designed to trigger out-of-bound network interaction, so we could use Collaborator for that, and monitor any resulting interactions. Alternatively, you can find the majority of SQL injection vulnerabilities quickly and reliably using Burp Scanner. I haven't noticed that, but I also haven't come across a whole lot of them in the real world. Burp Scanner finds a lot of false positives in my experience. Retrieving hidden data. Imagine a shopping application that displays products in different categories. When the user clicks on the gifts category, their browser requests this URL. This causes the application to make a SQL query to retrieve details of the relevant products from the database. So select everything from products where category equals gifts and released equals 1. The SQL query asks the database to return all details from the products table or category. Yes, yes. The restriction released equals 1 is being used to hide products that are not released. We could assume for unreleased products, released equals 0. The application doesn't implement any defenses against SQL injection attacks. This means an attacker can construct the following attack, for example. So let's drop this in our notes. And if we look at it closely, all they're doing is saying, hey, do gifts, and then comment out the rest of the SQL statement. And because it's going to comment out the rest of the SQL statement, it's going to return all the gifts, essentially. Or category equals gifts, like all of this is commented out. Crucially, note that that is a comment indicator in SQL. This means the rest of the query is interpreted as a comment, effectively removing it. In this example, this means the query no longer includes and. As a result, all products are displayed, including those that are not yet released. You can use a similar attack that causes the application to display all the products in any category, including categories they do not know about. So let's look at this in our notes. What are we doing here? Well, we're saying, hey, we want categories gifts, or, well, that's the default. So then we're doing this for SQL, or 1 equals 1, which is always going to evaluate to true. So the results of the SQL query and release equals 1. The modified query returns all items where either the category is gifts or 1 is equal to 1. As 1 is always true, the query returns all items. Take care when injecting the condition or into a SQL query. If Tiberius was watching this, he would say, yes, Tiberius made an entire try hack me machine called Lesson Learned that pwned me when I first did it because I just sprayed a bunch of SQL injection things at it, overwrote the database, broke the machine, had to reset it. But that was the whole purpose of that machine. Continue. Lab SQL injection. All right, what are we doing? This lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. I know they try to make this maybe a little bit easier, but it would be cooler if they didn't tell you where it was at, if they just said this includes a SQL injection vulnerability and it was up to you to find it. But I digress. When the user selects a category, the application carries out a SQL injection like the following. Select everything from products where category equals gifts and released equals 1. To solve the lab, perform a SQL injection attack that causes the application to display one or more unreleased products. Let's do this. So if we do corporate gifts, you can see this. We have this filter, corporate gifts, and if we just look at our notes that we took, we could do like literally that, I would think. Nope, okay, that didn't do it. What's the purpose of the lab? To solve the lab, perform a SQL injection attack that causes the application to display one or more unreleased categories. Okay, so let's try the other type of payload there. I'm pretty sure this is vulnerable to SQL injection, or not SQL, cross-site scripting. Let's just test it. I just noticed it's giving me this stuff in the background. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, I guess it isn't vulnerable to that. Is it hidden stuff? Unreleased products, okay. So if we do corporate gifts, that should be fine like that. But if we do this, it should evaluate everything to true. So it should show us all corporate gifts, even if they're not released. Yeah, okay. Beautiful. Continue. We could actually, does it close the lab out right away? Is it still open? What if we throw this in SQL map? What does that discover? So SQL map didn't discover that in the category parameter there. That's interesting. I'm sure it would, like if I tweaked it some. I just want to see generic, if I throw it at it, what happens. All right, subverting application logic. Imagine an application that lets users log in with a username and password. If a user submits the username Wiener and the password Blue Cheese, how do they keep using my real passwords in these? The application checks the credentials by performing the following SQL query. Select from users where username equals Wiener and password equals Blue Cheese. If the query returns the details of a user, then the login is successful. Otherwise, it is rejected. In this case, an attacker can log in as any user without the need for a password. They can do this by using the SQL comment sequence to remove the password check from the where clause of the query. For example, submitting the username administrator and a blank password results in this query. It's going to comment out the rest of it. This query returns a user whose username is administrator and successfully logs in. All right. Solve lab from a SQL injection attack that logs in as administrator. Bet. No cap. That's what the kids say nowadays. How long have we been going? 2 hours and 12 minutes. Guys, between the past 3 days, I've streamed 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6, almost 7 hours in the past 3 days in addition to my full-time job. I really need to get a hobby. Did it. Boom. I did it, guys. In one sitting. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, technically 2 different videos, but if you're on stream, in one sitting, I did the entire server-side vulnerabilities, a brand new learning path by Web Security Academy. So guys, thank you for hanging out with me on this stream as I worked my way through this. Really was a review on a lot of things, but it's always good to go back to the basics and dive into some of the stuff that maybe we missed out on. I did not get my full reverse shell, but hey, it was fun playing around with it at least. But we did it. One sitting, entire server-side vulnerabilities, 51 of 51, streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes straight, essentially. So guys, I'm going to call it a night now. If you missed any of this content, you can either watch the past live stream. Otherwise, these videos, both part 1 and part 2, will be uploaded to my YouTube page sometime next week. As far as when I'm streaming next, I don't know. Kind of when I feel like it. Maybe I'll jump on stream tomorrow night. We will see, but stay tuned. I will be back, guys. Thank you for taking the time to hang out. I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.